Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the ongoing 5th India Mobile Congress. We are now at the thought leadership session. We have some eminent industry leaders and partners as speakers for this session. May I first invite Mr. Nunzio Mirtillo. Mr. Nunzio Mirtillo is the Senior Vice President, Head of Market Area Southeast Asia, Oceania and India of Ericsson. He was previously head of the Mediterranean region, where he drove business growth and deepened customer relationship with operators. He has held different management positions within Ericsson that include Head of Sales Network for Western Europe within Business Unit Networks, Head of Business Operations in Market Unit Southeast Europe. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Mirtillo.
Honorable Minister of Communication, Shri Ashwani Vaishnavji, and other dignitaries from government and industry, good morning and namaskar. As the presenting partner of the India Mobile Congress, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you to the 5th edition of the India Mobile Congress. We are meeting on the virtual platform since last year, and I really hope we will meet face-to-face next year. Over the years, the India Mobile Congress has emerged as a leading platform for the industry to come together and discuss relevant issues, learn from developments from the globe, and build a common view on the role the sector can play to support the government's digital India vision. We look forward to meaningful discussion with all industry players during the next 3 days. I am sure that you will all agree that mobile connectivity is one of the greatest drivers of economic growth, but also of equality in the world. And we have never seen anything like that. It is the backbone of digital transformation, with the benefits of mobile services being available and used by consumers even in the more remote corner of India. We cannot underestimate the importance of broadband and connectivity towards the social and economic development of the country. The past 6-8 years have been about massive data usage and the shift in consumer behavior. And the next decade will be one of connecting everything that can be connected. And 5G will serve as the main platform which will drive this connectivity. For any country, investment in digital technology is an investment in the new era of a sustainable and inclusive economic growth and development. India has a great ambitions, and we hope you will support that. Great ambitions for digitizing society, where we expect 5G to play a fundamental role via increasing broadband connections. It will help in improving rural coverage, and so bridging the digital divide. It will also enable the Industry 4.0 and increase the contribution of digital communication sectors to India's GDP. 5G is an economic multiplier for India. And it is also the most energy efficient standard ever developed. There will be new emerging technologies powered by 5G. And those technologies will be fundamental means for industries, cities, and countries to reduce their carbon footprints. Today we have more than 180 already live 5G networks across the globe. And we are proud to power more than 100 of those networks in 46 countries. The 5G subscriber uptake is really get good momentum in markets, but it has been already launched. And we foresee that already by the end of this year, 25% of the world population will be covered by 5G, which is amazing. Ericsson has been in India since the start of last century, 1903 to be precise. And we have partnered the country in its journey across 2G and then 3G and then 4G. And now we continue to work with all the service providers in India, to help them, obviously, to prepare for a seamless introduction of 5G based on our global experience, but also on our innovative and competitive 5G portfolio. We are ready to go. The potential of India is an extremely important country for Ericsson. And the potential of 5G in India is enormous. I mean, India today is already the third largest market for 5G smartphone sales, although the services are yet to be offered. And according to one of the studies we have done for India, I mean, we believe that in the first year, there will be 40 million 5G subscribers subscribing and using 5G in the country. So it will be a very fast uptake. We also believe that India can benefit from the fast maturing 3GPP-based 5G device ecosystem once 5G is obviously launched in the country. I mean, the enabler, of course, will be the spectrum, and obviously it has to be an affordable spectrum. 5G has the potential to accelerate the digital transformation of virtually any sector of industry or society. It will provide a high-speed internet to the citizen so that they can access all new government and private digital service platforms. It will be the main enabler of digital and financial inclusion for the country. I mean, to conclude, I would like to say that Ericsson is committed to India. I mean, we are very excited about the opportunity 5G opens up for India. I mean, 5G will accelerate the digital transformation of the country and serve as the foundation on which the country's digital India vision will be realized. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mirtillo. May I now invite Mr. Nick McKeown, a Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Network and Edge Group, NEX at Intel Corporation. He is responsible for driving technology and product leadership throughout the network to the intelligent edge. Born in the UK, Mckeon founded 5 networking companies and received more than 25 industry awards, including 2021's IEEE Alexander Graham Bell Medal. Before his role in leading the Network and Edge Group, Nick was a part-time Intel Senior Fellow. So please welcome Mr. Nick.
Hello, this is Nick McKeown here. It's really great to be here with all of you at India Mobile Congress 2021. But I'm really sorry I'm not there in person, but glad that we can still gather virtually to support IMC as the largest digital technology forum in India and South Asia. I know many of you already actually through my time at Stanford University and Barefoot Networks, but now I have the pleasure to lead Intel's new Network and Edge business group. Intel works in very close collaboration with the ecosystem, including many of you, to accelerate transformation of public and core networks, data center networks, and to build out the intelligent network edge. India is one of the largest mobile subscriber markets in the world, providing a very thriving environment for the ecosystem to innovate. You can count on Intel to bring our hardware and software innovations in 5G, edge, and cloud to support as best we can India's digital journey. The entire world is becoming digital, and semiconductors are really the underlying technology that powers that innovation. The world needs an exponentially increasing amount of compute. We can push forward with innovation, discovery, and disruption by harnessing what our CEO, Pat Gelsinger, calls the 4 superpowers. And those 4 superpowers are ubiquitous computing. Everything that we interact with involves computer technology. Cloud-to-edge infrastructure. Immense amounts of computer communication between servers in cloud data centers, demanding the highest performance communications on the planet, while needing to be under full software control. And out towards the edge, the networking is moving to software as well, to allow new services to be introduced super fast at the speed of software all the way out to the edge. The third is pervasive connectivity, where everyone and everything is connected. And finally, the fourth is AI, intelligence everywhere, making sense of this infinite amount of data that we're producing. So each is impressive on its own, but together, these superpowers, they reinforce and amplify one another to help our customers capitalize on the fastest growing opportunities. I joined Intel to work for Pat Gelsinger, to build on these superpowers and to grow Intel's leadership position in networking and at the edge. So if we look across the communications industry, these superpowers are fundamentally changing how we design and operate networks and how we deliver network services. Our collective opportunity has never been as large as it is today. This industry is setting the course for a new era of innovation in network transformations. So let's consider where we've come from. We've worked hand in hand with you for the last decade, first on the transition to NFV and now on the shift to cloud native as we head into the era of 5G and the edge. Implementing cloud-like architecture is key. It brings us the same server economics that transformed the data center. Our collective technologies and innovations as an ecosystem have helped our customers deploy a software-defined, agile, and scalable infrastructure from core to access and out to the edge. And this important foundation supports the rollout of 5G and edge, building it out to the edge. The journey started in the core network, where we've seen tremendous adoption of virtualization hardware, virtualized functions, with more than half of them now running on standard off-the-shelf servers. Massive tailwinds behind network transformation and 5G is going to grow this segment to more than 80% by 2024. And now we're embarking on the same journey for the access network too. We're seeing the rise of the intelligence edge, where it's forecasted that more than 75% of all the data that we generate is going to come from outside of data centers. This is going to unlock value for both consumers and enterprises alike. We've already seen great traction for the initial rollout of 5G. The numbers are staggering. More than 180 commercial 5G deployments in 72 countries and territories. 429 million 5G connections, representing 7.5% of total worldwide connections around the world, and coverage for 15% of the global population. 5G is simply an economic growth engine, from its ability to improve fixed and mobile internet connectivity to its support for more immersive experiences on our mobile devices. So now we're entering the second phase of 5G, and nowhere is this economic potential more relevant than in the enterprise. KPMG estimates that there's $4.3 trillion in industry value that's waiting to be unlocked by 5G, an 8% increase in revenue over the next few years. Particularly, this is going to be in the areas of manufacturing, retail, financial services, and healthcare. Manufacturing and retail will probably be the biggest winners to start with, but in terms of growth, we expect that ICT, media, and transportation sectors are going to take the most advantage of 5G. 5G is going to transform the enterprise with its high capacity, its greater reliability, lower latency, high bandwidth connections, and very careful control. And as you know very well, 5G is already seeing rapid growth, with early consumers increasing their data consumption by about 280% compared to 4G. So 5G delivers flexibility via network functions running in the cloud. But that's not the only way. It also delivers multiple options for deployment models that range from public to private. Enterprises can explore deployment options to access connectivity and deliver use cases with a level of control and the investment that they choose. Let's talk about some of the options that they have for a moment. Public and private networks can work together to deliver connectivity to end users. Just consider a smart sports stadium, for example. The owners of the stadium can operate an on-premise private 5G network in order to be able to give themselves dedicated connectivity and to control the operations of the stadium. But at the same time, public networks provide connectivity to the fans inside the stadium. Both public and private networks, they already exist. So what happens as 5G becomes more pervasive? With private 5G, enterprises can own a really high capacity mobile network that is reliable, low latency, and can support time-sensitive applications. This is especially interesting as enterprises across all sorts of different industries look to take advantage of new technologies like AI and machine learning, advanced robotics, AR, VR. And this immense amount of data required is going to require much higher capacities in their enterprise networks than they have today. 5G private networks will allow enterprises to develop and deploy new applications, including real-time control and time-sensitive low-latency communications. And as we look out at how the communications industry is evolving, there are several fundamental transformations underway that we will all need to carefully navigate together over the next few years. First, and most obviously, AI is everywhere, and it's being stitched into every single business process. Every solution, every platform must incorporate and be optimized for AI workloads. 5G, of course, is driving change across the network and edge. Not only is it driving a new area of innovation in mobile devices, it's also creating a big commercial opportunity at the edge with Industry 4.0, smart cities, and so on. Platforms are being horizontalized. This transformation began in the cloud with hyperscalers converging workloads on virtualized computing platforms. The same transformation is happening now across the network, from the cloud to the communications service provider and out to the edge. And at the end of the day, it's all about software. Everywhere, across the network infrastructure, we're moving fixed function workloads up and out of hardware and into software. Software means it can evolve much faster and you can improve it for yourselves. No chip designer ever ran a large network. You run a large network at huge scale. By running your network in software, you can make it more reliable, more secure, and more scalable. Only you know how to do that best. We will continue to provide you with the hardware and software tools that you need to let you keep adding innovative new features to your network in software. Our job is clear, and we're delighted to partner with you so that you can develop new software for your network. Finally, cloud service providers have entered the era of heterogeneous compute in order to gain the next level of performance and economies of scale. With heterogeneous compute comes new platform definitions, including proliferation of accelerators like GPUs, AI accelerators, and disaggregated composable systems. The IPU allows cloud operators to separate and protect the infrastructure software that controls their data center and protect it from the tenant workloads running on the servers that they rent out. The IPU is going to have an important role to play at the edge as well. It's going to help secure workloads and to accelerate new functions. So keeping in mind what I've covered in my talk, our success as an industry really depends on collaboration across a broader ecosystem, much more than ever before. We believe Intel is uniquely positioned to convene this evolving 5G ecosystem. We're bringing together leaders and innovators across telecom, cloud, IoT, and the enterprise to define new 5G solutions, open source software. We're big believers in open source software and open APIs and standards-based technologies. We've worked with the industry over the last decade to transition workloads onto general purpose servers running on Xeon. And we help define standards by taking leadership roles in a breadth of standards bodies and communities to shape the future of connectivity and the edge. And we've fostered a thriving ecosystem. Intel Network Builders is a proven ecosystem of over 400 network software and solution providers that is optimized on Intel technology for the last decade, with thousands of tested real-world implementations. India is one of the fastest growing markets for digital consumers, and there's been a really significant investment to build out new mobile networks. Intel's working very closely with India's leading telecommunication operators and the whole ecosystem to try and drive network transformation in support of 5G deployments. For example, we're collaborating pretty closely with Airtel to drive deployment of 4G and 5G vRAN and Open RAN technologies. By transforming their network to a flexible software-defined infrastructure powered by Intel's very broad portfolio of technology, Airtel can optimize the features and performance of their network as they scale up the number of subscribers. So we're also helping Reliance Jio transform their network from the core to the access and out to the edge. We're jointly developing innovations in the 5G radio and wireless core, and we're collaborating in AI, cloud, and edge computing. Intel's work with Airtel and Reliance Jio, as well as with the broader ecosystem in India, is going to help accelerate the shift to a more agile software-defined infrastructure from edge to cloud to support India's digital transformation. Intel is committed to supporting our partners and customers in India, and we look forward to accelerating your journey of digital transformation. The advent of 5G and the build-out of the intelligent edge will not only enhance consumer experiences, but they'll also drive better business outcomes across a range of industries. Together, we can deliver on the promise of a connected India and bring the Make in India initiative into reality. Thank you so much for having me here today at IMC 2021. I hope to see you all in person soon. Take good care. Bye now.
Thank you, Mr. Nick, for the inspiring speech. May I now invite Mr. Mats Granryd, Director General GSMA. Mats, in his role as Director General GSMA and as board member, leads the GSMA in supporting its global membership through a range of industry programs, advocacy initiatives, and industry convening events. Prior to joining the GSMA in 2016, Mats was President and CEO of Tele2, one of Europe's fastest growing telecom operator across 9 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Mats.
Hello everyone, it is my real pleasure to be here with you today, and many thanks to India Mobile Congress for your very kind invitation. As we continue to emerge from the pandemic, we have a greater understanding of the importance of mobile connectivity to our lives and livelihoods. Over the last 2 years, we have all witnessed how mobile connectivity became the steadying hand to be relied upon, to be trusted. Remember that this is a global industry that has 5.2 billion mobile subscribers and contributes some 4.4 trillion or 5.1% to global GDP. It's a very powerful platform indeed. Now, when we convened Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in June, under fairly challenging circumstances, we saw that scores of government ministers and head of telco regulators prioritized the opportunity traveling to Barcelona to plot a digital path to economic recovery. Now, it is clear that the importance of resilient mobile connectivity to society and the economy has never been clearer. In India, the growth of mobile broadband has been an incredible success story, with 4G networks now reaching over 60% of the entire population and 1 in 3 Indians accessing internet through mobile. We are seeing an increased number of smartphones in total mobile connections. Now, this is forecasted to reach more than 80% by 2025. And while COVID-19 has caused India's economy to contract by 8% in 2020, the government remains committed to India becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. Now, this ambition will require a post-pandemic acceleration of growth, and so it is important to note that mobile enables the growth of other sectors also. Studies have shown that a 10% increase in mobile broadband penetration can increase GDP by 1 to 2%. Today, consumers in India are paying some of the lowest prices for mobile services in the world, and a combination of low ARPUs and high regulatory cost threatens the financial sustainability of the sector. Therefore, the recent announcement of a series of reforms boosting short-term liquidity for the Indian telecom sector represents a game changer for both the digital and wider economy. Now, these reforms are a critical first step towards the Digital India vision for the government to build on and ensure the long-term sustainability of the sector, enabling 5G to lead on India's path to a 5 trillion economy. Between 2020 and 2040, the GSMA, we are forecasting that 5G technology will make an overall contribution of approximately 455 billion to the Indian economy, amounting to 0.6% of the total GDP by 2040. 5G will enable new use cases that were just not possible with previous technological standards. We will see an enhanced mobile broadband, massive IoT, fixed wireless access, and ultra-reliable low-latency communications. With the spectrum auctions planned for early next year, India now has the opportunity to become a 5G player by enabling infrastructure, affordability, consumer readiness, and content and services. India is already the third largest market for 5G smartphones, even though the service is not yet available. That tells you something. And so we urge government and policymakers to support a rapid and sustainable 5G deployment by awarding technological neutral 5G licenses that will enable India to enter the global 5G technology race, paving the way for enterprise to address opportunities domestically and internationally. And we recommend a series of priority policies. Firstly, the timely assignment of spectrum, both for access and backhaul. Secondly, setting reserve prices for spectrum at an affordable level to incentivize investments. And thirdly, developing a full spectrum roadmap for the future. For the full potential of 5G spectrum is needed across low, mid and high bands. The 3.5 GHz range is really proving to be the launching point for 5G. As of last summer, around 80% of 5G launches had been carried out in mid-band spectrum, mainly between 3.3 and 4.2 GHz. After assigning 5G launch bands, there are then two main areas being addressed by regulators, either maximizing the 3.5 GHz range for mobile up to 4 or 4.2 GHz, or looking elsewhere, which often means up to 6 GHz. On average, we find that a total of roughly 2 GHz of mid-band spectrum will be needed, as well as access to millimeter wave spectrum. This will improve network quality, allow consumers to access 5G and enable more efficient and environmentally sustainable deployment, helping Indian operators to reduce their carbon footprint and meet their emissions targets. And the fourth priority policy area is the adopting of the holistic whole of government approach, which has the potential to speed up digitization in an environment of trust for the adoption of new technologies in India. Our vision at the GSMA is to unlock the full power of connectivity so that people, industry and society thrive. The mobile industry will continue to do what it does best, namely to invest in robust and resilient infrastructure so that economies and societies can continue to evolve. Innovate so that applications that we can't even imagine now will be driving whole economies in 2025. The mobile ecosystem is the great enabler as we look to the future. Our accelerated future that we are building together with 5G. So thank you very much, and please do enjoy the show. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Mats, for the enlightening words. May I now call upon Mr. Nishant Batra, Chief Strategy and Technology Officer, Nokia. Nishant, a global leader with broad experience in strategy and technology development and portfolio management across the telecom and enterprise sectors. At Nokia, Nishant is the Chief Strategy and Technology Officer with responsibility for corporate strategy, technology, architecture, and pioneering research at Nokia Bell Lab, Nokia's information technology infrastructure, and Nokia's venture capital activities. So please welcome Mr. Nishant Batra.
Hello everyone. It is my great pleasure to join you today at India Mobile Congress. In line with the theme of this year's event, Connectivity for the Next Decade, in my talk, I would like to talk us all into the future and share with you Nokia's Technology Vision 2030. But first, let me start with a few words about Nokia and India. From enabling rapid growth of the GSM technology in early 2000 to bringing high-quality 3G services in the last decade to pioneering LTE technology. And now, steering India towards the 5G era, Nokia has been at the forefront of India's technology evolution. We are the largest telecom solution provider in the country, and with a presence across all 4 operators and a leading position across customer segments. In addition to making 5G equipment in India for the world with our manufacturing operations in Chennai, Nokia is actively enabling India's own 5G readiness. Subsequent to the government allocating 5G trial spectrum in May of this year, Nokia has been leading the development of 5G use cases in India. We have active engagements with Bharti, with Vodafone Idea, and Jio for 5G field trials and have made several public announcements on the milestones achieved. 5G will open up new possibilities that will have a massive impact on society, industry, and consumers in India in the coming years and beyond the 5G era. So, let's look at the future. A digital and immersive future where India will have many opportunities. As part of our strategy development, we've been looking at the drivers of technological change in a company-wide exercise that we call a Technology Vision 2030. I'm pleased to share it with you all here today. By 2030, we expect 2 of the biggest drivers of network evolution to be human augmentation and digital physical fusion. Consumer broadband will still be the biggest service, and video will still drive the bulk of the internet traffic. That said, how the internet will be used will dramatically change. In this coming era, the smartphone actually will be the least exciting application. Human augmentation is about highly immersive experiences and enhanced human-computer interfaces, allowing humans to become part of the internet, not just users of it. We will increasingly move away from 2-dimensional screens to devices driven by augmented and extended reality. In the coming years, we will see more and more augmentation of the human body with biodigital interfaces, exoskeletons, and many other innovations that will help people with disabilities or medical conditions. Because of the immersiveness and extremely broad range of applications, the unprecedented pressures human augmentation will put on the networks will result in an evolution far beyond the capacity of the networks of today. Digital physical fusion. This is a separate but connected topic. Practically speaking, digital physical fusion means that by 2030, every physical thing that makes sense to connect digitally will be connected to the internet, enabling applications like digital twins, where it may be hazardous for humans, like in some mining environments, or for increasing the efficiency of agriculture, or that of factories. Nokia's Conscious Factory in Chennai is an excellent example of our vision of the factory of the future. We established it in 2008, and since then it has manufactured over 5 million network equipment units, exporting to more than 100 countries. From being the first to manufacture 5G NR in India to producing massive MIMO equipment, the factory demonstrates our innovative manufacturing capabilities and our belief in India's skill and talent to produce best-in-class equipment. The factory deployed India's first real-world application of Industry 4.0, including AR/VR, automation, and analytics to enhance operational efficiency and productivity. Now we're taking this one step further with Nokia Bell Labs, Autonomous Mobile Robot Orchestration, or AMRO, an end-to-end solution that brings efficiency and safety to robotic logistics operations through global and context-aware orchestration. The Chennai factory has robots from multiple vendors delivering materials to factory operations from manufacturing to assembly and to testing. The environment is challenging, with overlapping robot paths, narrow gangways, and shared pathways with humans and human-driven machines. Bell Labs AMRO leverages all available air interfaces, LTE, Wi-Fi, and soon to include 5G, to deliver ultra-reliable low-latency connections between robots and the cloud. With high-accuracy indoor positioning and camera localization, we can locate and track both robots and potential obstacles. The AMRO orchestrator pulls all relevant information to enable efficient sharing of the pathways. Robots will take less time for their missions and perform more tasks, maximizing factory productivity by improving logistics and minimizing wait times. Use cases like this will bring enormous changes to the demands placed on the networks and to the industry as a whole. And they will drive massive connection scale and the most performance stringent industrial applications. Human augmentation and digital physical fusion will create a whole new set of expectations for future networks. Expectations on performance, reliability, ubiquity, and security, on openness, and on sustainability. And with completely new pressures for networks to match the agility of the cloud, as emerging use cases focus on as-a-service models and performance-sensitive applications at the edge. This will lead to network evolution in three main ways. First, extreme performance specialized networks, where the most stringent industrial applications are served by specialized private networks engineered for extremely low latency and high reliability. The underlying growth in private wireless networks is strong. There are 15 million industrial campuses in this world, and in one way or another, the majority of them will invest in new generation communication networks in the coming years. Think of the opportunities in India alone. And second, network of networks, with many layers within and across networks, including macro, ultra-dense small cells, and 3GPP-compatible non-terrestrial networks working cohesively to provide a new level of ubiquity, performance, and reliability that emerging applications will require. And finally, third, network as a service. Networks will be consumed dynamically and as a service, similar to cloud services. By the end of 2023, we expect to see release 18 of 3GPP, or as we prefer to call it, 5G Advanced. This version of the 5G evolution will develop 5G to its fullest capabilities and as an important stepping stone to new interactive use cases we will see on a large scale in the coming 6G era, a few of which are highlighted here. Video, of course, is not new. What's changing is the huge improvement in performance and quality, our demand of the services, and the way we consume it. Digital twins are another good example of how technology will mature. We're already using digital twins with 5G, and with 6G, the range of applications will expand, as will the sophistication and scale. We also expect substantial improvements in positioning and localization accuracy. New techniques like carrier-phase positioning applied to the signals transmitted by 5G base stations will enable connected devices to be located with centimeter-level accuracy, not only outdoors, but also indoors, where satellite signals are unavailable. 5G Advanced will be a springboard to the 6G era, where holographic video calls are everyday events, and networks have a sixth sense, with sensors bringing awareness of people, objects, and the environment around them to create a mirror of the physical world, thereby extending our senses to every point the network touches. Combine this information with AI and ML, and it will make the network even more cognitive. This will unlock a whole new raft of innovations, most of which we haven't even dreamed of yet. Building networks to support human augmentation and digital physical fusion will require a completely new level of cooperation between the network and the cloud. They will need to work together seamlessly with the consumability currently expected from public cloud services. Enterprises are already drawing on public cloud and hybrid cloud efficiencies. But with stringent latency requirements, centralized public clouds aren't going to be enough. What's needed is a flexible approach between centralized, edge, and on-prem clouds interconnected by agile networks. This requires collaboration and investment in both the network and the cloud. Driving innovative solutions for the three network evolutions I described earlier requires robust technology leadership, and Nokia has many unique strengths. We build from a strong foundation with the world-class innovation of Nokia Bell Labs, our strong commitment to openness, and our leadership in standards, and our leading position in IPR. Our technology leadership includes high-performance custom silicon, continuous software-led innovation, and a deep commitment to the security of our products. We're also focused on building up the key transformational technologies essential to the network evolution, including transforming to fully cloud-native network software, which can be implemented across a variety of cloud platforms with security built integrally into the network user plane. AI ML powered optimization across the board for high performance and for automation, software-led low-touch operations, and ultimately automation of every aspect of the network and the services it delivers. As enterprises, governments, and networks invest in their digital transformations, Nokia is well positioned to provide the critical networking solutions they need. We're already leading this change through our collaborations with our CSP customers, our partnership with cloud providers, and the insights gained from our relationships with integrated verticals and other ecosystem partners. In India, Nokia has announced a collaboration with the Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore to establish a Nokia Center of Excellence for Network Robotics, supported by Bell Labs. The lab will research use cases based on 5G and emerging technologies, including designing next-generation networks and AI solutions for emergency management, agriculture, and industrial automation. Nokia is committed to supporting India's aspiration to drive technology innovation and IPR, with Nokia Bell Labs as a technology partner. Today, Nokia builds many parts of the network with a uniquely wide product portfolio. The ideas generated through our world-leading research have made Nokia standardization and patenting of the highest value in our industry. We have more than 4,000 patent families declared essential to 5G. The technologies we research are also implemented into our products for world-leading capabilities and new features. An example of technology where we've decided to double down our focus is 5G Advanced. It will provide an improved experience for humans and machines, extensions for new use cases, and expansions to offer new functionalities, all powered by innovations that provide operational excellence. 5G Advanced is a bridge to the 6G era, during which we will see the network evolve towards extreme performance in specialized networks, network of networks, and network as a service. And we are strongly positioned and ready to lead this evolution. You'll be seeing more on this and on Nokia's technology leadership from us as we move towards a very exciting future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Batra. May I now invite Mr. Ankit Agarwal, Managing Director of STL. As a deep believer in innovation-led growth, Ankit is driving the strategic growth roadmap for STL to take it through to the next phase of growth. Ankit is playing a crucial role in increasing STL's global reach, enhancing capabilities and solution strength, while also leading disruptive growth strategies through mergers, acquisitions, and greenfield projects. Let us hear Mr. Ankit's views.
Hi everyone, this is Ankit Agarwal, Managing Director at Solar Technologies. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak at the India Mobile Congress. I'm extremely excited to participate at this event, which is clearly the flagship event in India on digital connectivity. And this year, the topic is extremely important as we look at the next decade of broadband connectivity in India and how will that impact our citizens and how will it change their lives. In the last 25 years, have seen a dramatic transformation, and today more than 4.5 billion people, about 60% of the world, is now connected. With nearly 1 million new internet users being added every day, we saw digital becoming imperative across sectors, economies, and ecosystems, from workplaces to shopping malls, and all becoming digital, especially in the last 1 year. Despite the progress, connectivity for the next decade will largely need advancements in technology, policy, global collaboration, and frugal engineering. Recently, STL, along with the Porcelains Institute, concluded the Network Readiness Index for 2021 rankings, a total of 130 global economies based on their performance across 60 variables on technology, people, governance, and impact. With over 700 million active digital citizens, India has emerged as one of the biggest movers in the Network Readiness Index this year. We should be incredibly proud. The Indian economy has contributed about $537 billion to India's GDP in 2020 and is uniquely positioned towards transforming billions of lives across the globe. Internet-driven tech developments have made Europe the most network ready, while the US and other countries have jumped towards 4th and 7th, respectively. It's extremely critical, as we are all aware, that if we continue to build on our broadband connectivity in India, it will have a massive impact and will take us towards our vision of $1 billion on active basis and towards $1 trillion digital economy that we have laid out as a country. In terms of the connectivity itself, it's important that we focus on a converged tech, fiber, wireless, and satellite, fast technology-led deployments, and special policy frameworks and technologies to be humanized. Converged tech, fiber, and wireless. All the three technologies have complementary capabilities to reduce the differentiation between broadband haves and have-nots. While fiber provides high capacity and bandwidth access, wireless technologies like 4G and 5G provide mobility. Today, 4G networks can theoretically cover approximately 16 to 20 square kilometers. Some plans for 5G have as much as 40 small cells per 1 square kilometer. So clearly, if you do the math, you'll soon realize that the sheer number of small cells required will be massive to build a ubiquitous 5G network. Each one of these small cells will require 100% connectivity of power and fiber, and it has to be integrated into the network. With special projects like BharatNet, Ghar Tak Fiber, and looking at global projects like RDOF and gigabit projects in the US, we're clearly seeing an unprecedented deployment of fiber, both in India as well as globally. There's extremely strong need to eliminate any sort of inefficiency in the networks in terms of the deployment, as well as ensuring that you build a converged wired and wireless network. We believe that one of the most optimum solutions, especially in the wireless domain, will be looking at Open RAN and looking at how that can provide unique innovations, both in terms of consumer experience, but equally for the operators in terms of CapEx and OpEx savings. It'll also be extremely important for India to look at it, revamping some of its policies to ensure that ubiquitous connectivity across India occurs with the right kind of speeds, as well as both looking at upload as well as download, while historically we probably put more focus on the download side. In India, it's extremely positive to see some of the reforms being taken. We've looked at 4-year moratorium on payments of statutory dues by telecom operators. We looked at rationalization of the EGR with exclusion of non-telecom revenues, 100% FDI via automatic route approved, and more recently the PLI scheme to boost domestic manufacturing, and spectrum tenure hike from 20 to 30 years. We've also had spectrum sharing made free, and also the SUC charges to be removed. So clearly some of these steps are absolutely in the right direction, but we believe more can be done, particularly in the field of right-of-way, where it is still extremely challenging for operators and internet service providers to deploy fiber networks. There still needs tremendous reforms in both the process as well as looking at the pricing and ensuring the single window mechanism is fully established across the sectors. There's also an extremely important element where you have to look at humanization of the technology. The usage and consumption of digital technologies are complex, and a community model of using digital services should be set up with local people to simplify and dehumanize and demystify for global citizens. HTL leverages technologies to serve better across 6 tenets of human impact: connectedness, healthcare, education, safety and security, livelihood, and self-reliance. HTL is playing a critical role in accelerating digital transformation. I would like to share some details around how HTL is playing its part in ensuring end-to-end ubiquitous connectivity. And here I would like to talk about not only the optic fiber, but also our path forward in terms of wireless and ultimately physically building the digital infrastructure for India and the world. I'm extremely proud to share that we are the first Indian company to have 100% made in India multi-band 5G equipment. We're the only player in India to have a converged wired and wireless offering set. And we are fully secure O-RAN compliant 5G provider. In addition to this, we're very proud to share that HTL has now emerged as the largest system integrator in India for the telecom operators, and we continue to partner with the government in terms of especially rural connectivity projects when it comes to states like Maharashtra and Telangana. We're also partnering with the defense, various sectors, looking at end-to-end system integration and upgrading the networks which are required for the security of this country. We also believe that at a macro level, the industry is very well poised for rapid growth. We see strong tailwinds for a massive investment cycle. We see that not only are the telecom operators building networks, we also see strong investments for the government. We also see very strong investments coming in from the private equity space, who clearly see that digital infrastructure is a very positive investment for them. We see that technology has now become mainstream, whether you look at 5G, fiber to the X, or O-RAN technologies that I touched on earlier, they're growing at a rapid pace. Just O-RAN itself as a global industry will be close to $8 billion in the next 2 to 3 years. The optical demand, it continues to be on a very, very strong trajectory. The demand for optical networking is growing at a rapid pace at the back of some of these trends I spoke of earlier. As well as looking at the telecom ecosystem in India, I think it's great to see that with all of these announcements and support from the government, finally the ARPUs in India are starting to grow. I firmly believe it will go up to the 200 rupees that has been envisioned, which will create a very healthy sector in India, but also ensure strong capex by the operators to invest in the networks. And out here, it's extremely important to point out that for 5G, you will read a massive investment in India, anywhere in the range of $60 to $70 billion over the next 4 to 5 years. And at this phase, it's important that the government ensures all the investments go into network infrastructure and minimal investment goes into spending for 5G spectrum. In addition to that, we believe that there will be a tremendous network deployment also by new players like the data center providers, both standalone large players like the Amazon and Googles, but also large co-location companies like Control S and others that are coming up in the country. They will also continue to deploy a large amount of networks, both within their data centers, but also interconnecting the data centers, which will ensure that we have ubiquitous connectivity, we have strong data set up within the country from a security perspective, but also low latency. Overall, we believe that we are at the start of a 7 to 10 year, probably a decade-long investment cycle. We're extremely excited to be part of this journey. We're extremely excited to partner with the government, and we're extremely excited to partner along with all the telecom operators and service providers to ensure that the next decade of connectivity belongs to India, and there's tremendous impact to the country GDP, as well as a tremendous impact to the citizens of our country. And we wish the rest of the IMC and the event all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ankit. May I now invite Mr. Yezdi Nagporewalla, CEO Designate, KPMG, India.
Honorable dignitaries from the Government of India, delegates, and colleagues from the industry, good morning. It is both a pleasure and a privilege for me to speak at the 5th edition of the India Mobile Congress, the IMC. The IMC has established itself as a seminal event in the telecom, media, and technology industry, and KPMG is proud to continue to be associated as its knowledge partner for this event. The theme for this year's event resonates with the current status of ICT industry. After establishing its dominance in the world economy as the world's second largest market, the country is ready to usher in the next wave of mobility and connectivity with 5G. The pandemic came with its challenges. However, one of the disguised benefits is the increased pace of adoption of digital technologies and high-speed connectivity that has played a crucial role in enabling these technologies. Despite the burgeoning pressure from increased data demand, the telecom sector has shown resilience and has taken steps towards intensifying its network through various digital interventions, like network virtualization, and building cloud and edge computing capabilities that help capabilities on the opportunities presented by enhanced network solutions. This will also help pave the way for 5G implementation in the near future. The government, on its part, has been committed towards creating a healthy ICT ecosystem. The policy push through NDCP and National Broadband Mission, the recent reforms introduced by the government with a view to settle long contentious issues and improve the overall health of the sector. The steps taken towards implementation, including 5G test trials, more than demonstrates the government's commitment to propel the sector to greater heights with the launch of 5G. With this backdrop, it is my pleasure to introduce and announce the launch of KPMG's thought leadership, 5G, the game changer. In this report, we have captured how 5G is expected to change the connectivity landscape for India and how different stakeholders like TSPs, OEMs, device manufacturers, technology players, and infrastructure providers are preparing themselves for the opportunity as well as the potential of 5G. This report also focuses on what are the likely impediments of the successful nationwide rollout of 5G and what are the and what are the key expectations of each of these stakeholders from the government. By the end of 2030, we expect there would be more than 600 million 600 million 5G connections. With immediate promise of application of fixed wireless access, 5G will bring a leap of transformation for the society by taking gigabyte speed connectivity to small towns and villages. The industry is betting on enhanced mobile broadband applications to gain momentum in the initial phase of 5G, launched with the real ROI kicking in once massive machine-type communication and ultra-reliable low-latency communication use cases become mainstream. Given the readiness of the industry, digital infrastructure, and the existing challenges of adoption of some of the emerging technologies like Industry 4.0, IoT, artificial intelligence, etc., we estimate the URLLC use cases to gain maturity in 4 to 5 years' time from the launch of 5G in India. However, the floodgates of opportunities from enterprise have opened up in the current 4G era as well. With the existing low latencies and high speeds achieved through the network virtualization and creating cloud and edge capabilities, telcos are aggressively targeting the enterprise opportunities. However, it is critical that the telco focus on garnering a share beyond just connectivity for the economics of 5G ROI to work. Based on a KPMG study, it is estimated that connectivity holds only 11% of the overall 5G plus edge global opportunity. However, for the industry to unleash the true potential of 5G, we have identified 2 critical goalposts for telcos to focus on. One, convergence of connectivity and technology through partnerships with OEM, SIs, device manufacturers, which will allow TSPs to provide digital platform solutions and open new revenue opportunities. As telcos pivot towards 5G functionalities, it will require them to overhaul their current OSS and BSS and adopt bespoke and agile architecture that is scalable. Powered by cloud, connecting the front, middle, and back office will ultimately drive what we at KPMG call the connected telco. With capacity, reliability, latency, bandwidth, and efficiency being cornerstones for 5G ecosystem to thrive, the government has also got a critical role in enabling this ecosystem. Contiguous spectrum availability, affordable pricing, harmonization of standards, and an enhanced focus on building a robust digital infrastructure are some of the critical support areas that the industry is hoping for the government for a successful nationwide implementation of 5G. I trust this report would be a good summary guide for the industry stakeholders on the current opportunities and challenges and makes an insightful read for you. At the end, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the teams involved in making this event a successful, and best wishes to IMC to scale new heights as a platform which enables ideation, innovation, collaboration to build a bright digital future in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yezdi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the launch of 2021 edition of KPMG Thought Leadership, titled Connectivity of the Future, 5G, the Game Changer. This report provides insight into how the 5G environment is developing along with the readiness levels of different ecosystem players. It also highlights as to how a smooth transition to 5G can be made by addressing the issues that initially plagued the implementation of cellular communication standards. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for the Thought Leadership session. Let us take a short break and we shall return with business session shortly.